Hey, everybody, hunker down for this one, okay? I've seen some stuff, and so have you. I've heard some stuff, and so have you. From the nuttery of this entire edifice. But this is up there, and I think it's very serious indeed, and I think we should take it very seriously. It's an article written by Jennifer Lowell and Callie Fell, called Reality's Last Stand, which is something you can subscribe to and support if you wish to, okay? So let's get straight into it. Jennifer Lowell is the executive director at the Center for Bioethics and Culture. They've done a number of things. They have a YouTube channel, and you could follow them both on Twitter. You'll find all you need in the Dubras, okay? In recent years, a striking paradigm shift in medical ethics has emerged, driven by progressive political ideologies purporting to champion social justice. We're back in critical social justice territory, folks. This shift has precipitated a surge in initiatives centered around diversity, equity, and inclusion, or as I call it, DIE. The resulting effects have varied considerably. They include the introduction of explicit racial bias in treatment protocols, in a quest for health equity, and an unsettling disregard for biological sex as an important variable in both medical research and patient care. Instead, the new radical movements favours categorising individuals based on their self-identified and medically irrelevant gender identity. Now that opening salvo there from Jennifer and, make sure I get it right, Jennifer and Callie, should be enough to make you shudder anyway. The insanity of gender identity embedded in medical practice. Absolute lunacy. Lunacy. Even more alarmingly, we are witnessing a direct assault on the language associated with women's health in medicine. Terms traditionally used in clinical settings, such as mothers, are being replaced with neutral alternatives like birthing parents. Similarly, the term woman is frequently substituted with individuals with a cervix. Even though nearly half of women don't know what a cervix is, and such language may therefore cause a significant number of women to forgo important routine cervical screenings. This trend of overlooking biological sex as a critical medical variable stems from an ideological drive to queer the natural world, queer theory coming into play. The proponents of this view resist categorization, arguing that such practices are instruments of oppression wielded by the powerful against the less powerful. According to this perspective, medicine must eschew not only biological categorization of patients, but also traditional notions of what is deemed desirable or adverse patient outcomes. In the one field that we've got, that we know about, that we're so damn good at and getting better, medicine, they have their sticky fingers over everything. These ideological shifts have raised substantial concerns regarding potential harm that such denial of biological realities could inflict on patients. However, recent academic discourse has escalated these concerns to new levels. A provocative new paper in the journal Qualitative Research in Health, titled Medical Uncertainty and Reproduction of the Normal, Decision-making around testosterone therapy in transgender pregnancy, by Pfeffer and colleagues, propels us further down the road of medical malpractice. The authors, a group of transgender sociologists and enthusiasts, nutters, cultists, they didn't write that, I've just said it, right? And healthcare activists, and not one medical degree among them, argue to dramatically move the goalposts of medical ethics, choosing to completely disregard the health, safety, and well-being of the developing fetus, all in the name of trans inclusion. Get your head round that. Get your head right. They are willing to damage the fetus in utero for their cult-like beliefs. Get your head around that. Stop, pause, think, tell others. Abiding by their paper's guidance would land us in a vacuum, devoid of medical ethics and a seismic shift away from the importance of scientific research and medical evidence in favour of activist-directed healthcare. This is me, why we need primary legislation, as they are doing in America, to eliminate critical social justice from the public sphere. It is I've said this before, it is a public health crisis. And the sooner that somebody grasps the nettle, the better. The authors argue that gendered pregnancy care is too focused on helping women have healthy babies, and that it might be okay for trans women, right, to continue taking testosterone during pregnancy, despite the known health risks to the fetus and effects on its normal development. Dear God! If you're a pregnant woman, you can't have a slice of stinking bishop. You can't have a slice of brie, a glass of wine, a cigarette. You can't roll up a spliff and relax on a Friday. Somebody will jump on you if you're seen drinking a glass of wine in a pub with a bump. Right? Do you see it yet? My fury on this knows no bounds. The desire for, and this is a quote, normal fetal outcomes. The desire for normal fetal outcomes, according to the authors, is rooted in a problematic desire to protect their offspring from becoming anything other than normal, and reflect historical and ongoing social practices for creating ideal and normative bodies. This is quite frankly insane. In the paper, Pfeffer et al. Maintain that, quote from the paper here, lacking an uncertain medical evidence, HRT with testosterone during pregnancy and chest feeding, in a highly gendered treatment context, pregnancy and lactation care, both patients and providers tend to pursue precautionary, offspring-focused treatment approaches. We argue that medical ethics exist to guide medical providers and protect both the expectant mother and her future offspring. Jennifer continues. The authors of this article strive to underscore the prevailing power dynamic and expertise discrepancy between medical professionals and their pregnant patients. They also highlight lack of training on trans pregnancy care. This has to end now, folks. There's Rishi Sunak and Kemi Badnoch and all of that lot up there looking and seeing what to do next. And, get some primary legislation going. You need to get this nut job done. You need to get this lunacy out of our society. Out of our, not practiced in schools, not practiced in the NHS, not practiced in universities, get it gone. Highlight its philosophical underpinnings, and define it out of existence. It talks about us caring, not me, but the mother caring about her baby, the hospital caring about the baby, the hospital caring about the fetus, about the development of the fetus, the worries we have about don't smoke, don't have any cheese, all that stuff. They're saying that that's a precautionary approach within a highly gendered space of pregnancy care. My God, these people are insane. I tell you what this seems to be to me. I think this is about trans ableism, which you're going to see more of. People wandering around with sticks when they're 19, or sitting in wheelchairs when they don't need one. You're going to see more of it. You're going to see more of it because we, as a society, have made people mentally ill by allowing our universities and schools to teach this, by allowing our civil service, our institutions, procedures and policies to embed this nonsense, critical social justice, into our systems. Not even got anything to do with anybody being anything whatsoever. It's just unbelievable nonsense. And the government is duty-bound to say so loudly and without any equivocation that this ends everywhere. It is not only iatrogenic to children, it's now iatrogenic to fetuses. And it's not only iatrogenic to them, it's iatrogenic to all of us. It is a dangerous, dangerous virus that exists within our society. I am so angry about this. Because you think, when you think you've seen how far these people will scrape the bottom of the barrel. Now, it's okay for you to sit there and say, oh, well, you know, it's just a group of people saying X, Y, Z. They're getting rid of the word mother in the NHS. You don't think this is coming next? You're a fool if you don't think this is coming next. You're a fool if you don't think this will never end. They are a bunch of mentally ill people who have built an industry called dye, that wherever it goes infects everything and brings to rack and ruin the host of this parasitic virus of the mind. That's what it is. Now you go and read the rest of that article and you tell me where you stand, because I cannot imagine that anybody would stand with this. But then I said that about people who were that weirdo bloke who was breastfeeding a baby with a gunk from his moob on the top of a bus. But yeah, I've got people around me saying that's fine. That's fine. This is going to get worse if we don't stop it. And we need a public inquiry and a public health announcement from the government stating clearly that the entire edifice of what I used to call the postmodern teat, gender identity ideology, queer theory, critical race theory, and now environmentalism, right? Extreme environmentalism, that particular group of nonsense is a danger to our society. That's what's enabling it. Equity. The push for equity. The murderous ideology that killed millions in the 20th century. Just when you think these bastards can't stoop any lower, they do. We need action, and we need it now. The government must act before these people are allowed to take our society any further down the road of lunacy. If you're in a workplace and you've got your DI person or your DEI person or whatever it's called rattling on about nonsense, tell them to get stuffed. Don't get involved in it, right? Don't fill out another equal opportunities form. Not one more equal opportunities form. Start fighting back. I'm not doing that. No, you don't get to know that. Mind your own business. They are using the civil service, organisations, businesses, processes and procedure to collate data so that they can obfuscate you and tick box you out of existence. That's what it will be. That's what it will be. Put you into ever more boxes so that we know exactly who they are and how they should be treated. At the same time as we've got big data growing and we're going to be able to do it without thinking about it. The whole thing, all of this is connected, folks. This nonsense, what's happening in the NHS, what's happening in schools, what's happening with banks, the absolute inability of our government to take a step forward. That's what's happening. They're going after unborn babies, and I can't get my head around it. Okay. Ta-da.